Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It's a solo stream today, so bear with me. I'm not as much as a rocket, not as much of a rocket nerd as Callan, but I know a little bit of things. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, and yeah, it'll be fun. Sorry about my internet. It's not the best. It's a little laggy, so um, yeah. Just make sure everything's up to date with the stream. Sorry about my. Alright.
Not the case. And so this was the case on this mission where, they originally had assigned B-1072 for this mission. Now that booster will instead be flown on GOSU as a Falcon Heavy Side booster, which is going to be awesome because that mission is going to be another science mission that I'm definitely looking forward to. Weather satellites, that's good, especially for here for Florida. Speaking of which,
So we are T-minus about 8 minutes and 30 seconds from the launch. So this is going to be docking to the ISS. So that's going to be exciting. And also I'm going to give shout out to NASA spaceflight and make sure to subscribe to them. Same with SpaceX. So that's going to be exciting. And also I'm going to give shout out to NASA spaceflight and make sure to subscribe to them. Same with SpaceX. Also make sure to follow our socials so you never miss anything about streams, especially our Discord. We usually post when we're streaming, and which is probably gonna come out around now because it's T-minus 7 minutes. I'm gonna give shout out to NASA spaceflight and make sure to subscribe to them. Same with SpaceX. Also make sure to follow our socials so you never miss anything about streams, especially our Discord. We usually post when we're streaming, and which is probably gonna come out around now because it's T-minus 7 minutes. I'm gonna give shout out to
capable out of Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. So I don't think that that's going to be something we see anytime soon. Obviously, we'll still see polar launches, but in terms of being able to have constant communication with the crew and just, the scientific benefit of being basically able to see over 90% of the Earth where the ISS is currently, I don't see that in the near future.
Speaking of polar polar southern corridor, we actually have the next flight from the Cape here. It is with the PACE mission from NASA that is actually using that corridor. So that's going to be the next launch from here from Slick 40.
And as we approach 5 minutes to go, Sawyer, I'm going to send you off here so you can hopefully get some rather cracking photos of this vehicle as it ascends into the heavens for more cargo to the ISS.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I've got cameras at the ready. Max is at the ready. We're ready as long as Falcon's ready.
And I'll also just mention, because I completely forgot to mention during the intro, that Max is doing the broadcast camera today. So thank you very much for that, Max. Greatly appreciated, as always, bringing us splendid views of the pad. This isn't. This is from NASA TV. This is from Max. There we go. So as we enter the final minutes of the count here, the tension rises, the adrenaline starts to increase, because in just 4.5 minutes time, this vehicle should be leaping off of Slick 40. There's a Tesla going past, so it's probably a SpaceX employee. You never know. But as we mentioned earlier, that road, far from the exclusion zone. We're completely fine. Don't.
All right, everybody. So we're about T minus 4 minutes and 25 seconds until launch, and around T minus 40 seconds, or like T minus 1 minute, we'll hear from the launch director if we go for launch or not. And it looks like we are. The weather looks pretty nice outside in Florida, and hopefully everything goes well with the launch. We are also a few minutes away from strong back retract. And yeah, I think that's it for this quick little announcement. I guess we'll listen into what NASA spaceflight is to say.
Drifting has no them. It's all up to the algorithm. So make sure to thank the person in chat, because it's by chance that you've ended up with it. And we are now just 3.5 minutes to go for this flight.
Yeah, strong back retraction is now well in progress, and they should be wrapping up liquid oxygen load on the first stage real soon.
We can see venting now coming off from the side of the vehicle. And is it coming from the strong back as well? It's kind of hard to see from this angle, Alex.
Yeah, they have vents on the intrastage for the MVAC. They also, you can see there are some of those vents for the MVAC. We also can see a little bit coming from the strong back itself.
So we're almost done retracting, as the I don't know, what do you call them? As the announcer said. So stage 1's almost done retracting, and then we'll get into launch in about T minus 40 seconds. Also, I'm not sure what this means, but or when to sit, but Callan always says engines get really, really hot, but they also get really, really cold in some places, and I think that's the purpose of strong back. So, yeah, so everybody knows, and hopefully I said it right. Yes. Oh, once again, sorry about my internet. It's really laggy. I'm not at home right now.
Keep things moving, keep the hamsters in the wheels, running around, keeping the photons and electrons flowing into your face as we bring you these live rocket vehicle views. Not vehicles, well, vehicle, I suppose. SpaceX brings you the vehicles, we'll bring you the views from around the world. So thank you very much for all of that. And oh, look at this shot here. So fluffy. So I love it. It's so fluffy. It just looks kind of mesmerizing, that's all. It looks like when they bring out like fancy restaurants, they'll bring out like an ice pack and it has like kind of condensation just kind of all over it, you know, with the food on it. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
And there you can see the return of the strong back vent. That is it signifies that they have wrapped up liquid oxygen load on the second stage. So Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with propellants ahead of its launch.
Switch over to SpaceX here.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
There's the call. Falcon 9 in startup. Cygnus now transitioning to internal power. The Falcon 9 computers are in final pre-launch checks. That instructs the rocket through the last seconds before liftoff.
Falcon Cygnus,
Both
NG-20,
stages now being
launch.
pressurized for launch. The range remains go for launch. A pristine day for a launch from the Space Coast. T-minus 40 seconds and counting.
T-minus 40 seconds, and now the SpaceX computers
30
have
seconds.
taken control of the launch, so nobody can stop it.
$15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engines full power. And liftoff. Go Cygnus, go Falcon.
Falcon 9 and Cygnus begin their flight, taking aim on the International Space Station. Pitch and roll program are in. Falcon 9 arcing out to the northeast.
And with the gear pressure number.
Alright, so next we have the milestones are Max Q, which is maximum aerodynamic pressure. And then we have Miko, boost back, and fairing separation. Stay tuned for all those updates, and at about 2 to 8 minutes, stream will be over.
Space station, and we've throttled down our engines in preparation for Max Q, which is coming up here in a few seconds. This is the largest structural load.
Supersonic.
This is the largest structural load that the vehicle will see on ascent.
We are supersonic.
Max Q.
And great
Here
news,
goes
we've
Max
passed
Q.
through Max Q and are throttling those engines back up. Next up will be 5 events in rapid succession. That will be main engine cutoff, stage separation, second engine start, or SES1, the boost back burn startup on the first stage, and fairing separation. Main engine cutoff, or what we call MECO, is where all 9 M1D engines on the Falcon 9 first stage will shut down. It's all those engines that you see there on your screen. And this will be followed by stage separation, or the separation of the first and second stages. A few seconds later, the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite to boost Cygnus to low Earth orbit, which is also known as SES1. Then Falcon 9's first stage will ignite again to orient itself to head back to land with the boost back burn. Shortly thereafter, the fairing halves will separate and expose the spacecraft to the vacuum of.
Alright, so we are approaching the main engine cutoff, and then boost back, and then fairing separation, and that's when stage 1 separates from stage 2. And now we are in main engine cutoff.
Confirmed.
Stage sep confirmed.
And back ignition. Stage 1
And
boost back startup.
SES1 startup.
And there we've had MECO stage separation, the MVAC engine on the second stage ignited, as well as the boost back burn starting up on the first stage vehicle. And some awesome views there on your screen. On your left-hand side is a view from the first stage. On your right-hand side, a view from the second stage.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And fairing separation confirmed.
And excellent news. We were able to see and hear the call out for confirmation of fairing separation. You can actually see one of the fairing halves falling back to Earth on your right-hand screen.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
And we heard that call out, and you can see on your left-hand screen that the engines on the first stage vehicle have shut down, and that concludes the boost back burn for the first stage vehicle. You can also see that the grid fins are now deploying on the first stage.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectory.
And great call outs that both vehicles are on nominal trajectories. Some awesome views on your screen. Again, on your left-hand side is a view from the first stage. On your right-hand side is a view from the second stage looking at our MVAC engine. You're watching a live webcast for NG-20, Northrop Grumman's 20th resupply mission to the orbiting laboratory. This is SpaceX's 10th mission for 2024 and the second flight to the International Space Station just this year. You might be interested to know, in order to get to space, the rocket has to do more than just go up. It also has to go sideways and really, really fast. At liftoff.
Yeah, so it counts as a lot in streams. So you have to get into orbit, you have to go, straight into space, but you have to go really, really fast sideways.
needs to go 7.5 kilometers per second or 17,500 miles per hour horizontally in order to avoid being pulled back down to Earth and get into orbit. And that is exactly what this vehicle just performed. And on your left-hand side, again, is the first stage making its way back down to Earth. Today, we do have a land landing, so we do require 3 burns in order for it to make its way back to its
Alright, so we are doing a 3-burn landing.
back burn for the vehicle as it oriented itself heading back towards land. Next up will be the entry burn, and that's where 3 of the Merlin engines will reignite. This helps to slow the vehicle down as it re-enters the upper parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And then will be followed by the last burn, which is the landing burn. That's a single engine burn that brings the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to touch down back on Earth. And a really cool view of that first stage vehicle from our ground tracking camera. That looks amazing. And that entry burn is coming up here in just about 30 seconds or so. Views look amazing today. Again, you can see on your left-hand screen the view of Earth in the background of the first stage as it's coming back down to Earth to land on our landing zone. Right-hand screen, again, is of the second stage, looking aft at our MVAC engine.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Alright, stage 1 entry burn startup.
We just heard that call out, and you can see on your left-hand screen that the engines on the first stage vehicle have reignited. It's just about a 17-second burn.
So, like you said, this burn is about 17
Stage 1.
seconds, and then
Back down to Earth.
Both vehicles continuing on a nominal trajectory.
And this is an incredible view that we are getting of the first stage vehicle heading back to land. Right now it's using its 4 grid fins to guide
Stage 1 transonic.
the vehicle during its descent.
alright, stage 1 is transonic.
Amazing. You can see those 4 grid fins deployed. What a view that we
Stage 1
have.
landing burn.
And you can
Landing burn.
see that the landing burn has begun for the vehicle. Let's watch as Falcon 9 touches back down on land.
Stage 2 FTS has saved. Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing legs deployed, and touchdown. Touchdown, the CRS NG-20. And they did a very good job. The cameras were very nice on there. And right after Seco 1, the stream will conclude.
Boosters. That was such an incredible view to watch. Now next up is Seco for the second stage. That's where we will shut down this MVAC engine.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And great news, we heard that call out for Seco 1 as well as confirmation of good orbit. At T plus 9 minutes and 15 seconds into the mission, the second stage has one last major task, commanding separation of the Cygnus spacecraft just a few minutes from now. For those of you just tuning in, you're watching a live webcast for NG-20, Northrop Grumman's 20th resupply mission to the International Space Station. This is SpaceX's 10th mission for 2024 and second flight to the International Space Station this year. And for those of you following along, you'll know that Cygnus will be joining 2 SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that are...
All right, everybody. So here, I think we're gonna end the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I don't know that much about space rockets, but I try my best. That's why I didn't talk very much, and I just let the launch director, I guess, what do you call him, announcer?